Hello, Dashing Foxy here, and today we are going to show you how to make wonderful chocolate chip cookies on another edition of Baking with Dashing Foxy. So, the very first question you're probably asking yourself is, what do I need to succeed? Well, I've got the perfect solutions for you. First, we're going to need 2 mixing bowls, one for your dry ingredients, one for your wet ingredients. You're also going to want a blender to mix them all up at the end of it. Measuring cups are always a good thing to have. You can either do this or one of those measuring things that where you pour, and you're going to need a cooking pan. Now, I usually generally have about 3 or 4 of these, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get started baking, shall we? Okay, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add your all-purpose flour. Now, your all-purpose flour is going to be 2 cups and 1/4 of all-purpose flour. Now, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, you probably want a shifter, which looks like this, so you can shift the flour to make it a little bit more fluffier, and you want it to make it easier to stir and other things like that. So, just remember, it's 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and you add an extra 1/4. So your next thing you're going to be adding is the baking soda. Now, you're going to want to use 1 teaspoon. Please do not add more than 1 teaspoon, because if you do, it will clear up your whole entire indigestion that you've probably had since that Chinese meal that you had a couple nights ago, but it will also taste awful. So you want to make sure it's just 1 teaspoon. Then you're going to add some sugar to make it all sweet. And what I like to do is I like to mix it around, try to get all the sugar in there. And that's 3/4 of a cup of sugar. 3/4. So next you're going to want to add 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pack it down until it becomes the 3/4 cups. Okay? So, then all you got to do is just dump it in, and you got yourself brown sugar in there. Since we're done with all the dry ingredients, we are moving on to the liquid ingredients, which, what better way to start out with 2 eggs? Now, I'm going to try to crack this, and we're going to give it an attempt. So, wish me luck. Oh. Oh boy. So I cracked it. Oh gee. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties have arose. Oh boy. I used to be able to do this with my other suit. Ah. Come on. Huzzah! I did it. Next one. Okay. Oh, jeez. Don't try this at home. It's kind of tough. But we're going to do it. God, gee. Why did I think this was a good idea? Who knows? Okay, and oh, still a little bit left in there. Come on, get out. It's like, oh gee, we're in it together. We're struggling. Get out. Oh, and there goes the eggshell. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take out that eggshell, basically. And then there are your 2 eggs. I gave it a shot, guys. It's just very hard to do with these paws. So then you're going to add 2 sticks of butter to your ingredients with the liquid. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract Okay, now that we got all the ingredients into the bowl, as you can see, we're going to actually start mixing it. Now, what I like to do is I like to take the mixing and use the liquid side first. And then what you're going to do is you're going to gradually pour the dry ingredients that I have over here into the liquid as you're stirring. That way it makes it easier to deal with, and then eventually it'll turn into dough. And then we can't also forget our wonderful chocolate chips that we're going to be adding to it, because you can't have chocolate chip cookies without chocolate. Okay, now we're going to pour in the chocolate chips, as you can tell. We're going to pour a couple in them, and then we're going to repeat this process at least 3 or 4 times. Now that we are finally done, as you can tell, the final result is cookie dough. You can see, look at how great it looks. Even if my blender kind of almost smoked and caught on fire, that's not a joke. So, now what we're going to do, yep, the blender's right over there. So, we're going to come over here and we're going to set our old ass oven that's from the 1970s to 350. Look at that. We're going to set that to 350, and what we're going to do is I'm going to let my human buddy right here roll out the dough because I don't have a cookie scooper. So I also don't ruin, he's going to do great. He's going to do great, maybe. Look at all that cookie dough. So now he's completely taken the cookie dough. So let's go and roll out that dough, shall we? Okay, so now as you can tell, my friend is trying to be fancy and throw all of the dough around. He is really going to town with it. Now what you're going to want to do is make it into round circles. That is round circles. So, yep, see, look at that. He's trying to be all fancy here. And what normally I like to do is have about like 3 or 4 inches apart, because you don't want the cookies to intersect with each other. Now, I understand it sounds like a good idea, but it also can cause burnt cookies and cookies to undercook, and nobody likes an undercooked cookie. Isn't that right, hand guy?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, well, good. So we're going to continue on with this for a little bit, and then I will show you by putting it into the oven. Okay, as you can tell, these are all rolled up thanks to the hand guy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our oven that is already preheated to 350. So I usually like to do a baking time of about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the size. These look like to be about 15 minutes. And we're going to close that. And we're going to come back, and we're going to have a delicious cookie that your mother will love. Okay, guys, we are done, and we got our final results here. Look at them. Look how great they turned out. They're not too burnt, not too great. They're just fantastic. The guy with the hand's going to show you what it looks like, and then he's going to still one, and that's what I pay him in, is cookies. So, yeah, just don't do that to anybody else, because then the lawyers get it. Whatever, who cares? So, as you can tell, the cookies are all done, and hopefully this is your final result once you're done. And as always, they're dashingly delicious. And they are fantastic. So, I hope you learned a lot from this cooking show, and I hope you have a dashing... You serious, bro? You're ruining it? You know what? Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Go get.